ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
It's a beautiful evening here in Lagos. Thank you for joining us on CoreTV News this hour. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has declared his interest in seeking the ticket of the All Progressives Congress for the 2015 presidential elections. He has also named a veteran strategist, Babalola Borishade, to coordinate his campaigns. Atiku's media advisor, Garba Shehu, disclosed this in a statement made available to journalists in Abuja. He added that the former vice president would formally declare his intent and unfold his plans on Wednesday, September 24. In announcing his ambition, Atiku said his interest in the presidency is about reforming government, securing the people, and reconciling the nation. On the appointment of Borishade as campaign coordinator, Shehu described him as a well-known political strategist who worked for the victory of the late Shehu Musa Yaradua and thereafter late Mashood Abiola on the platform of the defunct Social Democratic Party, SDP. He also worked as the strategist for President Olusegun Obasanjo in 1999 and 2003 elections, both of which were won resoundingly. Nigerians have been urged to make the right choice at the forthcoming 2015 general elections. The advice was given at the 5th Gani Fawemi Memorial Lecture in Lagos. Oluwaseyi Adegoke has details in this report presented from our studios.
They came from all walks of life to honor the man who for so many years stood on the side of the Nigerian masses, who for so long have been denied access to improved living standards. The occasion was the Gani Fawemi Memorial Lecture held in Lagos. The theme of the talk, which is the state of the nation and 2015 general elections, aptly reflects the mood of the country at this time. At this forum, comments on the political situation of Nigeria were not in short supply. Issues ranging from health to security of the nation were discussed. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, wants politicians to desist from using the Boko Haram insurgency as a bait for their illegalities.
A part of Nigeria has been annexed by the Boko Haram sect, and they have named the place the Caliphate Republic. As of this morning, not less than 10,000 Nigerians are in Cameroon as refugees. They've left their homes, and we want to warn both the APC and the PDP, the two ruling parties in Nigeria, dominant parties, to stop politicizing the Boko Haram menace. What is required on the part of all of us is to unite and fight this dangerous phenomenon.
Guest lecturer at the occasion, Professor Akin Oyebode, says Nigeria is at a crossroad and needs a quick fix solutions.
People should stand up to be counted, take their destiny in their hands, and kick misrule out packing in our environment. We must make sure that those who come to office justify the faith and confidence that we repose in them, okay? Make them accountable and ensure that we have transparency and pro-people government.
Former Petroleum Minister Professor Tam David West says Nigerians need to evolve into a true nation quickly. Otherwise, the current challenges facing the country will persist.
We are great Nigerians, we are very great people. We are so optimistic. What do you expect of a country where a PhD says 16 is greater than 19? What do you expect of a country that headed by a PhD that says 16 is greater than 19? A country where the vote of the president for food is 1 billion naira a year, that he cannot pay 18,000 naira minimum wage. It's a great country. We must salvage it. But over the years, I've got to lose faith in our election and our leaders. A nation where a president will say that stealing and corruption are different. Stealing and corruption are different. If you say stealing, if you don't know what is corruption, how can you fight it?
Has the 2015 general election
determined to put an end to the electoral violence in the country, the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations has organized a one-day public lecture to address the menace ahead of the 2015 general elections. Frank Omolape has details in this report.
From the First Republic to date, several elections conducted in Nigeria have witnessed clashes of opposing camps. Most times, these violence claim lives of innocent Nigerians, a situation which makes many dread the Nigerian political environment. To seriously address this issue, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations organized a one-day seminar aimed at finding lasting solutions to the challenges of Nigeria's elections. The public lectures had in attendance the Nigerian Army, traditional rulers, Independent Electoral Commission officials, various interest groups, among others. The theme of this public lecture, which is curbing electoral violence in Nigeria, the public relations dynamics. Speaking at the forum, INEC Chairman Atahiru Jega, represented by the Lagos Resident Electoral Commissioner Adekunle Ogumola, says INEC is working towards a free and violent-free process in the coming 2015 elections.
The imperfections associated with the 2011 elections are well noted by INEC, and since then we've been trying to find a way of perfecting our acts so that come 2015 we'll have a successful outing. So we're now soliciting the support of NIPR to assist us in disseminating appropriate information.
According to NIPR, it's targeted at all, including the general public, so as to ensure a violent-free electoral process at all times.
The necessary party to be involved in this is the INEC and the security operatives. And I can see the presentation of Professor Atahiru Jega stating the importance of NIPR in trying to promote advocacy, trying to entrench values that are necessary for a free, fair, and credible election in Nigeria.
While dismissing alleged partisanship on the part of the royal fathers in the electioneering process, Obadekunle Abolari, the Orogun Ile-Ila, stressed that traditional rulers cannot be ignored in the electioneering process in the country.
Very many of us take traditional rulers for granted. I do too before I became a king. But in terms of purposeful leadership and rule, you should commend them as fathers of all. Because before the election and after the election, you have a great role to play.
We support policy-making issues in Nigeria, and we go out there to creating a beautiful environment for people to operate. So the NIPR has never been partisan.
Well, so many issues have been discussed here at the forum today, but it is expected that of every participant at the forum today, not only to take something home, but also to help further deepen the level of awareness with a joint effort in curbing the electoral violence at all levels. Frank Omalape, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Indigents of Bayelsa State in Abuja have called on President Goodluck Jonathan to declare his intention to contest the 2015 presidential election. They say the Jonathan administration has done enough since 2011 to earn a second term. The group also wants Nigerians to rally around the government in its bid to tackle insurgency in the northeast region.
Establishment of Amajiri schools in northern states, which is a trailblazer. You can observe that the Amajiris have been existing for long, but no one, no president, no head of state have been able to cater for the Amajiris. They see them going hand in plate, begging for money. But he looked at it and said, no, the gap between the educated and uneducated should be bridged. He set up schools for them. If you are conversant with an NTA program advert where a child whose father was about being cheated, but because he attended this Amajiri school, he was able to count money and tell the father the truth. That is an achievement. Despite distraction. The president is fighting courageously the menace of insurgency in the northern part of the country. We wish to commend the Nigerian military for its doggedness in tackling the insurgents. And this is a challenge to all Nigerians and to our collective existence. Our heart goes to the parents of the Chibok girls, schoolgirls adopted by the terrorists over 3 months ago. It is a trying time for them and the nation as well. We demand for their immediate and unconditional release by their adopters. We wish to also commiserate with families of those who lost their loved ones in the course of the terrorist activities.
Determined to wrestle power at the center from the People's Democratic Party at the 2015 general elections, the All Progressives Congress, APC, has vowed to use the power of votes vested in the people by investing heavily on people's-oriented programs. This is the highlight of the APC Southwest Assembly held in Ibadan on Thursday. Omotayo Alo filed in this report.
The atmosphere was that of cordiality and pleasantness as members of the All Progressive Congress in Southwest gathered to strategize for the party's victorious showing in the 2015 general election. Rauf Aregbesola, who recently won the Osun State governorship election, charged party members to develop a template for bringing governance to the people, while making sure that cooperation within the party ranks is regarded paramount. He called for the review of the party's winning strategies to meet current realities.
Our greatest strength against the plans of our opposition in this region and even Nigeria are who? The people. Our programs, our policies, our activities, our campaign strategies must all be geared towards satisfying, mobilizing, inspiring the people.
For the parties aspiring for various 2015 elective positions, Governor of Oyo State Abiola Ajimobi encourages them to be ever focused on people-oriented programs and pay less attention to the opposition party's propaganda. All the party's stalwarts lend support to the governor's position.
APC, as a party, we believe we will win in all the states that we are contesting, and that is the 36 states plus Abuja. We are going to win, and we will win the presidency.
At this time, we have to close ranks. Those people that are having issues, we have to close ranks. We should give what it takes to bring everybody back to the center, so that we can make a good progress.
It's our hope, and it's our will and determination by come 2015 we will expand our coast and make sure that we win at all elective positions in the Nigerian state, particularly at the center where we will now have even distribution of resources and powers to all the confederating units that make up Nigeria.
The National Vice Chairman, Southwest Zone, Pius Akinyelure, and others stressed the importance of unity and togetherness while expressing their satisfaction on the outcome of the assembly.
We've been able to discuss our performances in the past and able also to reposition ourselves for the jobs ahead. And again, re-energizing our people to get ready for the fight ahead.
It is an opportunity also to be in the midst of where issues are being reviewed for the main purpose of getting it better.
With so much determination to be successful at the 2015 elections, the All Progressives Congress have reached conclusions, but only time can tell if these decisions will translate to favorable results during the 2015 polls. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
Meanwhile, Nigerians have been asked to vote out non-performing politicians in the 2015 general elections. Lagos State Governor Babátúndé Fáṣọlá and legal luminary Akin Oyèbọ̀dé gave their advice at the 15th Mike Okonkwo annual lecture series titled The Power of Your Vote, a Catalyst for a Stable and United Nigeria. Abiola Oluwole was there. His report is presented from our studios.
As political gladiators map out strategies to occupy elective offices in 2015, groups have also stepped up sensitization among Nigerians on the importance of voting wisely. This gathering is another avenue to intimate the electorate on the gains of electing credible leaders come 2015 and beyond. delivering a lecture titled Power of Your Vote, the catalyst for a stable and united Nigeria. A professor of law, Akin Oyebode, laments the inability of politicians to abide by the nation's electoral law. He maintains that the right of the electorate to choose who governs them without fear or intimidation must not be toyed with.
This is why the governing class is charged to do all it can to assure the people that their vote will count. More so, as Joseph de Maistre once said, that if people get the government that they desire. So if this is not the government that we desire, we have the obligation to vote them out and put into power those deserving of our votes. But that is if all things are put in shape.
While blaming the degeneration of the nation's value system as the bane of good governance in the country, Fashola urged the electorate to always summon the courage of voting out non-performing administration.
We must have the courage to change what does not work for us. It is no longer democratic when a bad government has served out its full term and then we say we are changing it. In the same way that we must change a bad government, we must vote very vigorously to keep a good one. And that is where the choice is inherent and embedded.
As activities for the next general elections gear up, all Nigerians are asking for credible elections that will guarantee them improved living standards.
The 2015 general election approaches. A major concern has been the rising insecurity in the country, especially in the Northeast. Speaking on our flagship program, Court Digest, a legal practitioner, Monday Ubani, says the ravaging insecurity in the country has been a creation of the political elites in their quest for power.
Or the rise and the profile of insurgency in the Northwest, it is the politicians that created these guys were armed by the politicians in order for them to get to power, and immediately they got to power, they forgot them, but meanwhile they have not taken away the guns. A lot of sentiments came up, and these guys were left frustrated. Before you know it, they started recruiting. It is a political elite creation. There's no two about it. What you are seeing today, the insurgency in the Northwest, is a creation of the political elite. And if it's been sustained by the political elite and can only be eliminated also by the political elite, go and mark my word, it is when it affects them. The way Ebola is being treated is the way all of them wake up to, because it's not affecting them. It's a common man that is being affected. The common man is being decimated. The common man is being killed every day. The moment Boko Haram takes this insurgency, this war, to the political elite, and you hear that the governor has been killed, you hear that the senator has been shot dead by the Boko Haram insurgents, I tell you that day there will be an end towards finding a solution to Boko Haram insurgency.
Politicians will not stop the insurgency. He emphasized that relevant authorities should not take security issues with kids' gloves.
Don't we have local government chairmen on ground? Don't we have a governor on ground? What are they doing? Security starts from you in your home. You secure yourself first, and then there's a neighborhood watch, okay? And that's how it goes, And so I think that for us to begin to blame, take the blame away from where it belongs and begin to put it at a remote location, is not, that's what has made everything become the way it is.
Our flagship program, Court Digest, runs every day between 9:30 and 11 a.m. except for Sundays. That comes up at 12 o'clock. You're watching CoreTV News on the hour. More stories coming up shortly after this break. Stay with us.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes, and bleeding from the eyes, ears, and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water, or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces, or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees, or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
It's time now for some Ebola updates. The Nigeria health authorities have laid rumors of Ebola virus disease in Kaduna State to rest. Spokesman for the Health Ministry, Dano Wome, disclosed that the suspected case tested negative. He added in a brief statement that tests done in Lagos shows that a student of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, who manifested Ebola-like symptoms earlier in the week, had leukemia. The federal government has intensified surveillance at airports across the country to prevent the influx of Ebola virus disease. It also wants Nigerians to see the inconveniences experienced at the airports as a major sacrifice which will help stop the virus. Minister of Aviation Osita Chidoka said this while inspecting the level of its surveillance at the Abuja airport.
We are providing the necessary infrastructure to make sure that what happened with the index case of Mr. Sawyer coming into Nigeria does not repeat itself, and more importantly, using the testing techniques that the Ministry of Health has ordered to ensure that we do not move it across the country. I think that the country has come out very strongly against the Ebola virus. I think that there has been tremendous support and tremendous concerted effort led by the President in the event of the Ebola, and I think it's fairly under control. What we need to do is to continue to call on Nigerians to continue to support government's efforts in making sure that we do not have the spread of the disease beyond the index case that has been the one that has spread all these problems we have in Nigeria so far.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization WHO says more than 1,900 people have now died of the Ebola virus disease in West Africa, warning that the world's worst ever outbreak of the disease is still gathering pace. Global health experts have stepped up their warnings in recent days, with world leaders need to do more to address the epidemic, which is most prominent in Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. The latest toll represents a significant increase from the 1,552 deaths and 3,069 cases reported by the Geneva-based organization just days ago. The number of deaths is higher than the total fatalities in all previous outbreaks combined. Senior United Nations System Coordinator on Ebola, David Nabarro, says the number could rise even higher. Nabarro says he hoped that the global response to the health crisis would soon bear fruit, especially in the hardest hit countries. About 200 experts met in Geneva to debate experimental treatments for the Ebola virus disease as the world's worst ever outbreak rages in West Africa. The meeting was organized by the World Health Organization and include policy makers, ethicists, clinicians, researchers, and patient representatives from the affected countries. The meeting aims to review and evaluate the current developments of therapies and vaccines for the virus, inform authorities of affected countries about treatments available, and ease contacts between countries affected by the disease and countries producing treatments.
What is the plan? What can we all do in order to have this unproven medicine? And I want to stress this point. What we'll be discussing at this moment is unproven, is the hope of what we're going to have. How can we take the things which are the most promising of these unproven medical products and make sure that they are developed with the highest speed possible? So develop in terms of getting them to registration and develop in terms of putting them in the treatment center as much as possible in order to make a difference in the life of people. Then we will go into the plan, from the plan to what support is needed from everybody, from governments, from funding agencies. How can we have this plan move this unproven medicine to medicines who are experimented in the field to make an impact, possibly on the epidemic, but possibly and certainly also on the life of the people who have to fight the epidemic.
Away from Ebola virus-related stories now, British Prime Minister David Cameron says Britain would contribute 3,500 troops to a NATO rapid response force designed to meet new threats highlighted by the Ukraine crisis and Islamic militias' gains in Syria and Iraq. The spearhead would be part of a reformed NATO response force headquartered in Poland, with pre-positioned equipment and exercising frequently to ensure its readiness. The two-day NATO summit has been billed as the most important since the end of the Cold War.
Must reassure our Eastern European members that we will always uphold our Article 5 commitments to collective self-defence. So we must be able to act more swiftly. I hope that today we can agree a multinational spearhead force deployable anywhere in the world in just 2 to 5 days. This would be part of a reformed NATO response force with headquarters in Poland, forward units in the Eastern Allies, and pre-positioned equipment and infrastructure to allow more exercises and, if necessary, rapid reinforcement. If we can agree this, the United Kingdom will contribute 3,500 personnel to this multinational force. Second, as the Secretary-General has said, we must increase our capacity. I hope today we can reaffirm our public commitment to spend 2% of our GDP on defence and 20% of that money on equipment.
And that wraps up this hour on CoreTV News. Don't miss our primetime news coming up at 9:45. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.